Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Sarky Formstead. So go ahead as you pop on, hit the like button, drop in comments who you are, where you're watching from. I have the most amazing information that I have to share with you. We're going to start with the truth that's being admitted about blood transfusions and tech billionaires trying to reduce their age so that they can what? Cheat death. Okay. We're going to start there, but we're going to go all the way through the gauntlet of what is happening in our country, how Europe, actually the United Kingdom, sent over agents to help Kamala Harris become president in the United States and to stop Donald Trump from becoming our chosen president. We're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss the climate hoax. There are so many things that we have to talk about. And we're even going to talk about root canals. Good morning, everyone. I see you guys are popping on pretty quick. We have people here from Nebraska, Australia, Kansas. That is awesome. Hey, Kent, how are you? So, yeah, we have to put the truth out there. And I have 45 minutes, and then I have to finish getting ready for church. So, Nevada, good morning, everyone. I know we're all coming from different time zones, so I really appreciate you being here. It does help the algorithm so that more people will see this. Oh, we have somebody from Bangor, Maine. Let's start with what I just found on Hustle, Bitch. I'm not going to say it. And what he was just discussing. Oh, we have Europe in the house. How the elitists are using blood from youth to reduce aging. Now, before I show you the clips, I want to read to you what I found in the Los Angeles Times. This was written February 28th of 2019. So a 5-year-old article. It says this startup aimed to use transfusions to slow aging. And then the FDA weighed in. In 2016, a tiny Bay Area startup announced an experiment that seemed equal parts medieval sorcery and science fiction. It would inject older people with the blood plasma of young donors in a bid to slow aging. Guys will do anything. Now, of course, we can't talk about what we all know they actually do with children, right? Because that'll get me kicked off YouTube. We wouldn't want that. But we all know this is a much deeper. The evil is just they can't hide it, right? They've got to talk about their excitement to reduce the aging process. Ambrosia chief executive Karmazin charged patients $8,000 to infuse 1 liter of plasma, folks. Wow. Last week, now remember this was 2019, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration poured cold water on his improbable dream. The regulator, echoing individual medical experts, issued a warning saying the treatment's benefits are unproven and that the practice could be harmful. Now, here's my thing. It's not harmful per se to the person getting the plasma, but where is the plasma coming from? If you are unaware, if you look at a map in America, plasma centers are strategically placed in low income, predominantly Black areas. That is one of the most racist things I've ever seen, is that to give blood or to get plasma, you have to go to the plasma centers, which are located in really like ghettos. I know I've gone. I've been really poor before. I was an addict and I'd do anything for $65 when you know what I'm saying? So you could go get plasma, the plasma center, but you literally had to go into the ghetto to do it. And it's like that across America. And I don't know how it is in Australia or Europe. I'd love to hear you guys tell me. That's right, Zane. You popped it. Debbie popped it. You guys are amazing. You can say over there what I can't say here, correct? Yeah, Debbie Griffin said, I don't give blood and will be taking myself off any donor list after I found out what they are now doing. So this was in 2019. You can guarantee in the past 5 years that they've gone underground with these types of treatments. They never, once they break through a bubble, like with weather manipulation, they're never going to shelve that science. They're going to keep trying to pull it and tug it into a new use, so that they can continue doing what they want. Oh, somebody said, Ekin said it is the same in Europe. Hey, Salt Shaker. So yeah, so Monterey, California-based Ambrosia, named after the mythical food that conferred immortality on Greek gods, quickly announced that it was ceasing all treatments. Okay, yeah, we all believe that, right? Oh yeah, like, we think we found a way to make all of us multimillionaires and rich people look younger. And now that we think we know how to do it, we're just going to stop. You're right, FDA. We're going to stop. EPA, we're not going to do this anymore. But it goes on to say Duke University's Molecular Physiology Institute said he is working with 4 pairs he personally sewed together. And if you don't know what he's talking about there, it's where they take an older mouse. It can be anything, actually, but I'm going to use mice as an example. An older mouse and a younger mouse, and they stitch their circulatory systems together. Okay. They stitch them together. Okay. What they found is that the older one of the pair begins to, its organs regenerate, right? And he says that, he said his research found that fresh blood circulation made the older mice's blood cells really act young again, even healing bone fractures faster than normal. But he was dismissive when it came to claims related to humans. Let that sink in. Let your mind go where it wants to go right now, and envision how evil someone could use this knowledge. That's all I'm going to say. Let your mind go there for a second. And if your mind's like mine, it's endless. Okay? It's endless. Right? Huh. Good question, Susie. How many hundreds of thousands of children are missing? And then, of course, but the experts regularly emphasize that in medical testing, mice and humans are decidedly not the same. Karmazin had just graduated from Stanford University Medical School. So I want y'all to understand that these insane scientists are coming out of our most prestigious universities, Stanford, Duke, Harvard. What they're putting out is terrifying. And your tax dollars subsidize those private universities. Just let that sink in for a second. Karmazin, 34, wasn't able to practice medicine because he hadn't completed his residency. Instead, he said he partnered with physicians in California and Florida who agreed to perform plasma infusions at their own clinics. Karmazin said he provided them with plasma from donors under the age of 25, which he said he purchased from blood banks. Aren't there regulations to blood banks? Hey, Boston, I love the eyes. I feel that. It's like, what is she reading us on Sunday morning? I'm just saying, it says in his interview with Bloomberg, Karmazin said he had treated 150 patients. Their blood was tested in the days before the treatment and 1 month after, allowing a comparison of biomarkers. He said he found precancerous cells and amyloids, which indicate, hey, sweetheart, Alzheimer's disease had fallen up to 20% post-treatment. So what he's saying is that disease markers, precancerous markers, went down after these plasma treatments. Now, you tell me if he found that in 150 incidences, that they're going to shelve this. I'm just saying, I should have stayed in community college. Somebody said, I just watched a movie on this yesterday. Folks, it's mind-blowing. I mean, let me tell y'all, when I found out that there were Petri dishes with human brains that had developed eyes running AI computers, I was just like, I think I'm done with this crazy, insane world. One 62-year-old from Southern California said in a telephone interview arranged by Karmazin that they had been receiving infusions for more than a year. He is only the second person to speak publicly about his treatment by Ambrosia. The man, who was a mathematician who requested anonymity to protect his medical privacy, said a motorcycle accident in 2011 had left him partially paralyzed. After the infusions, he said he could sleep through the night again and generally felt better. No, this is not a movie, Miss Jacqueline. This is real life. We're talking about a company that's doing regenerative medicine called Ambrosia that believes taking plasma from people under the age of 25, we'll say 18, so I don't get kicked off, 18 to 25, so I don't get kicked off YouTube. And giving that to older people will reduce how you look and how you feel, and it will help your organs and all that stuff. Yes, all of you feel free to look this up. The name of the company I am referencing is Ambrosia. It says, however, Karmazin didn't need the FDA to approve his trial because he was offering a pre-approved procedure, a basic blood infusion, as an off-label treatment. Still, he sought approval from the Institute of Regenerative and Cellular Medicine Institutional Review Board, an independent group that determines whether a study on human subjects is ethical. Oh, how nice of him to be concerned that his study would not be considered ethical. I'm just saying, you guys, you can't make this up. All right, so let's get busy on the actual videos because I think you guys need to see this.
Our company interested in making you young again?
Now, I don't think we will live forever, but maybe we discovered that the fountain of youth is actually within us, and it has just dried out.
There's a company in the United States, they have 5 locations. They use blood from young people, inject it into older people with the promise that it will rejuvenate you and give you a more youthful feel and appearance.
Regular transfusions of the blood of a younger, physically fit donor can significantly retard the aging process. And Bryce is a picture of health.
I thought vampires were confined to just movies and books. Well, it turns out I was wrong because apparently it's now cool to inject the blood of young people into your veins to stop aging. And yes, I'm about as disgusted by this as you are, but that's not going to stop me from showing you just how these evil men have created a system where they exploit us to get to this fountain of youth. But before we find out how they are quite literally sucking Americans' blood dry.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. I have never checked the box for organ donor, but I'm going to make sure my entire family knows that no, I do not want to be in the organ donor program. I had a video for you guys. I think it was out of like Kentucky, and I had to delete it. I couldn't even, it was on the regular news channel, but I couldn't listen to it again. It was a young man that they said was brain dead, and then they took him to take his organs. And he woke up, and they were going to go ahead and remove his organs. They were determined that they were going to do this. And now the family is suing. I'm still not 100% sure if he lived through that, but exactly at this stage, I am no longer an organ donor. I am O negative. So I have amazing blood, right? But no, if you're not my immediate family, you're not getting any of my blood. I used to give plasma. I had a medical issue that went on for a couple of years, and they paid me a tremendous amount of money for my plasma. I will never do it again. I'm just saying, guys, we live and we learn, but I want you guys to know that do not put yourself as any of that, okay? That you're just going to be used for parts for the ultra rich. People that really need your organs would never get them anyway. So,
young person's blood. And this isn't even the full cost of this treatment. The company said you'd likely need 2 liters of blood, and while 1 liter costs $8,000, you could get 2 liters for just $12,000. Gotta say, that sounds like a hell of a great offer. Now, with these types of prices for this experimental procedure, it turns out these vampires were coming predominantly from Silicon Valley. And the undisputed champion of these tech vampires is Peter Thiel, who has been obsessed with anti-aging research as he has expressed the dream of living for at least 120 years.
God
he
forbid.
was one of the first people to openly talk about his interest in blood transfusion and parabiosis. And according to one article, they received a tip about Mr. Thiel paying up to $40,000 a month to get blood plasma from an 18-year-old. Now, the billionaire, of course, has denied these reports and made it very clear that he's not a bloodsucker. However, he's just a small part of this group of tech billionaires who are spending millions upon millions of dollars to cheat death. Larry Ellison, the co-founder of Oracle, has given more than $330 million to research about aging and age-related diseases. Meanwhile, Alphabet CEO and co-founder Larry Page launched Calico, a research company that targets ways to improve the human lifespan. Dave Asprey, the CEO of the supplement company Bulletproof, said, "My goal is to live beyond 180 years. I'm doing every single thing I can to make it happen for myself." As you can see, these people are extremely determined to live as long as they can. And to see how crazy they can get, you only have to look at tech billionaire Brian Johnson. Now, this 45-year-old man has been spending $2 million a year to look 18 years old again, and you can decide if his efforts are paying off or not. However, just last year, he shocked the internet when he conducted what he calls the world's first multi-generational plasma exchange earlier this year with his 17-year-old son and 70-year-old father. The procedure, approved by his team of 30 doctors, was an attempt to reduce age-related brain decline. So basically, he injected his son's blood into his very own veins and also injected his blood into his 70-year-old father's body. Now, he did eventually stop this procedure and claimed he had received no benefits from this blood transfusion. However, his weird experiment just goes to show us that these ultra-rich people are willing to go to any limits in order to stay young. That's why they didn't.
Now, I saw in the comments somebody said our DNA is God's, and I agree with that. I agree with that. Once you're a born again Christian, you get a blood transfusion. I tell you guys this all the time. Satan has to mimic God. So to reduce the aging process and all this other stuff, they have to take blood from other people, sacrificial lambs. We are blessed with the fact that if you are truly saved by the blood of Jesus, you can see your body rejuvenate. I am point can tell you this. They told me I would never walk again. I have metal plates in my feet. How many of you see me all over my yard doing all kinds of stuff? I was hiking in the temperate rainforest 3 days ago, but I was told 7 years ago, you will never walk again. Get a wheelchair. Your feet are in pieces. It's never going to happen for you. But I got saved. So what I'm saying, good morning, Miss Susan. What I'm telling you guys, is there is a way to look young again. There is a way to rejuvenate your body, and it's through the blood of Jesus Christ and the infilling of the Holy Spirit. Do not let them ever tell you you need some crazy science when God has already given you the DNA that'll do it. Now, moving on. Speaking of your body breaking, how many of you are having health problems, chronic headaches, back pain? You feel bad all the time. You're sick. Okay. So I found something and I need you guys to hear this. If you're new to my channel, you may not realize this, but about 4.5 years ago, I had to have all my teeth removed and the bone, like it wasn't just pull the teeth. I had to have layers of bone removed due to chronic bone infection. When I was a school teacher, I had 4 babies back to back to back, breastfed all my babies. It ruined my teeth. Why? Because nutrition is no longer in the food. And my kids basically sucked everything out of me they needed to be healthy. And I couldn't get that back through the food that I was eating. So my teeth went bad. And like most Americans and like most first world country people, I had root canals. Okay. Over the years, those temporary root canal that were supposed to hold 15 to 20 years leaked bacteria that went down into the bone. I almost lost my right foot. I went to a podiatrist. He said, let me see the bottom of your foot. There was a huge bed sore on the bottom of my right foot. He said, that's it. We got it healed. And this is what he said to me. If you come back with another sore like that, I'm amputating from above your knee down. You're going to lose that whole lower leg. He said, can I look in your mouth? Well, I had beautiful teeth. I mean, like, I was like, yeah, sure. Look in my mouth. What he pointed out to me infuriated me. There was a black line along all the way around the back side of my teeth. I couldn't see it, but if he'd held a mirror, and he did for me, you could see this thin black line running up underneath all those caps. He said, ma'am, When was the last time you've been to a dentist? I said, I was at the dentist 2 months ago. He said, every one of your teeth need to come out of your mouth right now. He said, if you don't get your teeth out, it's going to kill you. What he didn't realize was a year before that, I had 8 broken ribs. They couldn't tell me what made my ribs break. They spontaneously combusted. I sat up, rib broke. I coughed, rib broke. 8 of them back to back to back. So both sides of my rib cage is broken. I had no disease. I had no cancer. Medical doctors had no clue. It was coming from my friggin' mouth. I had bacteria in my bloodstream that was minute enough that the test wouldn't pick it up. But because of the root canals, it was there. If you have root canals, please hear me now. Your smile is not worth your health.
To an orthopedist. The orthopedist said he did an MRI of my back, said I had a herniated disc, did surgery on me to remove the disc. About 6 weeks later, I was worse. The orthopedic surgeon did another MRI on me. He said the disc had moved more, that I needed to have a laminectomy at 2 levels. And he took me in and he did a laminectomy at L4 and L5. Laminectomy means the back half of the bones on the spine are pulled off so that there's more room for the discs and more room for the nerves. At which point I saw her and she was worse. And what came up on the examination that I did, that she had some inflammation in her jawbone. I said, did you have any dental work done prior to this back pain? And she said, well, come to think of it, I did. I had an infected tooth. I had a root canal done. The root canal failed. I had another redo of the root canal. It also failed. I had the root canal tooth pulled, and I had a graft put in there, and I had an implant put in there. So I said, let's do an experiment in the office. I can inject a local anesthetic on that tooth. If your back pain is related to that tooth, and I block the nerve coming from that tooth, it may make your back pain feel better. And that may be the reason for your pain, because after 2 failed surgeries, another one, the chances of it working aren't very good. So she said, I'm in. So I took some local anesthetic and I injected her tooth, and I waited about 15 minutes. And when I came back into the room, she was standing up going like this. I said, how does it feel? She says, it feels 90% gone. I said, then probably this is linked to that tooth. I just want to make sure you come back in 3 days. We're going to do this again. I want to make sure that just isn't a relief reaction, sort of a mental, this is all psychosomatic and it's gone. We did it again. And she said, it's gone. I'm going back to the oral surgeon and I'm going to have him take the darn implant out. Within a couple of weeks, her back pain, except for what was left over surgical trauma, was gone.
Well, root canal procedure is still a very, very popular thing in dentistry because no one wants to lose a tooth. But more and more people are beginning to realize, even from the current day modern and very traditional literature, that it's impossible to sterilize a root canal system.
Most conventional dentists believe there's no problem with them, but I personally couldn't disagree more. I think that they are a hidden source of toxicity for almost anyone.
The reason that root canals have an inherent problem is that because we know that nowhere else in the body can we leave dead tissue. Anywhere else in the body, your appendix dies, you have dead tissue that doesn't heal in any other area of the body. We know we have to remove that because it's a haven for bacteria and it's not compatible with health. And the same is true in a tooth. A tooth is a living structure, has a blood supply, has a nerve supply. And so when a tooth dies or becomes infected and we decide to go in and do a root canal, even the best endodontist or root canal specialist can do a great job at cleaning out the main canal of any of the teeth. But what they can't get to are all of these thousands of tubules. You can see if you cut a tooth in half or under a microscope, you can see these thousands of tubules that run out in every different direction and all sorts of angles off from the main canal.
Those microtubules are big enough for bacteria to fit in, but not much else. And the
Folks,
problem is if you've got 60...
I showed y'all this because I care about your overall health. It is important, all right, to have teeth to properly chew your food. But it's not just that. I did YouTube for 2 years with no teeth, and I understand the ignorance of people who assume when you look at someone that doesn't have teeth, that they just must be either poor or uneducated. Now, that is an assumption, though usually it is true, like 75%, because people who have money are not going to walk around without teeth, correct? So you look at someone who has no teeth or bad teeth, and you have to equate to they probably don't have the money for the procedures. In my case, I didn't have the will to do it again. They had butchered me over 8 surgeries, and it was extremely painful to remove all the bone. And what was left needed to be cleaned so that I could eventually wear dentures, which is how we moved into at least me being able to wear my top. I am going in the morning to be refitted again for the bottom. We'll see what happens. But can I tell y'all something? 4 years, no teeth, and guess what happened? My bones quit breaking. I quit getting sick. I quit being tired. It's insane. It's insane how much better I feel. I'm just saying. Yes, pull it. Do not do root canals. Do not do them. Pull the tooth. You can do partials. If you have to pull all these in the back, you can get a partial denture just to replace those teeth for chewing. Right. Somebody said eat a whole apple, like bite into an apple and it'll push your dentures where they need to go. Dentures can be expensive. They can be uncomfortable, but your health is more important than your looks. And I think I built a really strong base of people on my YouTube channel. We were up into the 50,000 that loved me toothless. You're not always going to find hateful people that are just going to judge you on your looks. Your health has been, yes, Miss Morlise, I've been fighting exhaustion for over a year. Folks, I was in my 30s, pregnant with my last son when my teeth just began to break. What did they do? Root canal, because I was pregnant. Root canal, root canal, root canal, root canal. Within 2 years, my doctor had me on prescription pain pills. From there, I was a full-blown addict and my life was over. Do not let your teeth take your life. It's too close to your brain, okay? You're going to get chronic headaches. You're going to get neck pain. You're going to get back pain. You're going to get inflammation in the body, okay? Get those root canals out of your mouth. Right. I understand that. I understand that someone just said, Sam, I've had so many pulls and dentistry is too expensive. Right. Because dentistry can fix your health. We all know that big pharma is the same. It wants you to keep coming back. If you go to a good doctor, a good dentist, and they remove the infection out of your face, you don't need medical care. So they'll pay for the medical care to keep you coming back, but they won't pay to fix what's wrong with you, and that is your mouth. Start a GoFundMe. Ask people for your birthday, for Christmas. Go to your loved ones. I had to borrow $4,400 from my 79-year-old parents to get that. When I went to my mother and I said, Mom, they're going to amputate me from the knee down, and this podiatrist said I had to have my teeth removed, my 79-year-old mother pulled it out of her account and said, you can pay me when you can. Because she understood that my life was more important than that money. I think fillings, Miss Susan, I think fillings can also have just as much of an issue down the road because they begin to crack and bacteria begins to seep back in, which is why they have to go in, remove the old filling and go deeper. It's a temporary fix, but folks, once that tooth starts going bad, just pull it. Just pull it, okay? And get your children off of sugary, get your grandbabies off sugary stuff. All right. I love you guys. It is now, I've been on here 30 minutes. I have to go get ready for church. I told you guys this was going to be very quick. I will be back. I want to leave you with a warning. They're wanting to install Kamala Harris as president for the next 30 to 40 days. Why is that? Why is that? We should all be very concerned.
A major advisor to the Kamala campaign, came out publicly on TV and called for Biden to resign. Now, why would Kamala care about taking the office for 2 months? Simmons knows. Because now,
I'm just saying, why? Because when there's finally a woman president, I want her to have earned it. I want America to vote in a woman president. I don't want her to usurp another person's position. What is going on? What is going on is all I can say.
There's no branch of medicine that exists where a dead organ is left in, except in dentistry where a root canal is left in. If a guy's got a gangrenous toe, you got to cut the toe off because it's bacterial infested and it's toxic and it's going to kill the patient. If you think that you can get away with an infected toxic tooth and not have a systemic consequence, I think you're deluding yourself.
I'm going to leave you with that thought. Go back, watch that a few times if you need to. I love you guys with all my heart. I've got so many other great things to show y'all. I will be doing a Zoom tonight with Troy Anderson, who wrote the Trump Code. He's coming back on to talk to us a little deeper about some of the other books that he wrote and a personal letter that Trump wrote to him after he was elected. So super excited. I'll put that Zoom up for you guys later tonight. I'll be back on live tomorrow, probably around 2:00. You guys be looking for that. And yes, if you guys are having chronic pain in your neck and your back, start in your mouth. I love you guys. Have a blessed day.